Nathan Lamont is fast developing a following for his anthemic country pop songs that have included Skin to Skin and Drink You Up. He has another irresistible track in I'm Calling Shotgun, which is out now and also my latest earworm as it has been for the past couple of weeks. Hello, Nathan. Thanks for making another earworm.
No worries, Sophie. Thanks for having me back on. It's always a pleasure. I always look forward to our yarns. So I'm really excited.
Likewise. Now, I'm going straight to the new song because you posted a clip on social media of the origins of this song and then you spliced it with the finished product, which was such a great way to show us your work, basically. And I always
Mhm.
love it when musicians do that. So encourage you to do it more if you want to. When did you get the idea for this song?
Yeah, so Alex Mather and I were in the studio together. We'd actually just finished recording the vocals for Skin to Skin, and we had blocked out the whole day for the vocals. So we didn't know how long it was going to take. So we decided, look, once we knocked over the vocals in half the day, we just decided to sit down and write a song, and it was really unplanned. We had no intention that day of writing a song. So to get my third single out of that was pretty cool, and it was Alex that kind of brought the hook idea. I'm calling shotgun. We didn't have any kind of narrative or storyline attached to that particular hook. It was just a line that was thrown out, and we both kind of were happy and landed on that idea and that concept, and it kind of grew into this story about a guy who is in love with this girl who's in a toxic relationship, and he's saying to her, look, if you're ever wanting something new and you want to ride off into the sunset, I'm calling shotgun. So,
So, in the process of writing it, did you develop that story before you started writing the lyrics, or did it emerge through the lyrics?
yeah, so I think we actually wrote the chorus first. So we didn't have the storyline of the toxic relationship or anything like that. That didn't come into play until after we'd written the chorus. So in the chorus, we just wanted to, up until this point, I've really enjoyed writing with a lot of visuals, and I feel like because I was going to go into this my third single with music video, I wanted a song that had a lot of visuals to play with, and we just kind of started jotting down all these visual ideas things that you experience driving, or places that you go, or things that you can do with someone when you hit the road. So we kind of were just throwing out those visual ideas, and we kind of settled on each one as we found it, and the 40 acres of heaven, you
Hmm.
know midnight dance on a rooftop, just random kind of visual concepts that we thought sang really well, and
Hmm.
highlighted some romanticism in a relationship. So and then, yeah, it just kind of built from there, and I think that the verses came shortly after, really, and we just kind of had to flesh that out a little bit just to make sure it made sense.
Yeah. And such an interesting way to think about putting it together, like actually thinking of that finished product. As you said, you wanted to make a video, which you did make with Jeremy Minette from Eyes and Ears, and it's a great video. So it's thinking, I suppose, about the audience as well. That's where it might stem from. That you're thinking, well, how can we actually take this story and present it in the most fulsome way to the audience?
Yeah, yeah, I think that every time I write, I always, it's not that I want to pander or anything like that. I have the audience in mind because I want them to just understand the story, and for it to be, something that they can come along with when I'm singing it, in terms of the visual aspects, but also the emotional aspects. And I think that with Drink You Up and Skin to Skin, I felt like I did a good job with that, at least making it clear what the message was about, and we wanted to do that this time around as well. And like, for me, when I'm writing, I'm not always writing from a place of experience. I think most artists, whilst they like to draw from experience, we also can sometimes exaggerate and kind of expand out from that, or draw inspiration from other people's experiences or whatever it might be. And this song was just really, highlighting some traits that I feel that I have, with just positive lyrics, and
Hmm.
highlighting for me, I've always been, I've been in a relationship with my wife now for 15 years, so I'm someone who likes to write a lot about love, and in this case, obviously, it's about love that's not yet been discovered. It's about love that's not yet been I suppose, conquered in that way. So whilst I haven't necessarily lived that any time soon,
Mm.
I feel like it's at least something that I enjoy singing about and highlighting the the more fun elements of love, really the earlier days that we
Yeah.
go through.
But also, it's a respectful song because it's not a song that says, "Oh, hey, ditch that guy because you should be with me." It's actually you make your decisions, and I'll be here
Yeah.
waiting if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose. Yeah, I haven't thought about it like that way, but I think you're right. I think it's obviously not. It's not too forceful. I think it's really like being patient and waiting for the right time.
Mm.
Because I don't think that and it's not even necessarily a certainty. I suppose when I think
Yeah.
about it, it's not like there's a resolution in the song at the end. So who knows what happens in that storyline?
Which is part of the fun of it is that the listener can take their own experiences into it, and also because I
Yeah,
think, as you said, those visual elements you went for in the lyrics, they do make it a picture in the
yeah.
listener's head, and it is this wish of the narrator saying, if you decide that it's not for you, I can offer all of this, and making it a positive story, not, oh, I'm just the alternative to that crap guy.
I mean, in the music video, it kind of does it does resolve in that way, I suppose. So it
No
kind of does.
spoilers, Nathan. No spoilers for people who haven't seen it.
Well, and I mean, people seem to be really enjoying the music video. At least, I mean, it's got quite a few. Like I actually don't even know how it's got as many views as it has. It's got quite a few views on it now.
It's well over
I,
20,000 just on YouTube, I think, in a handful of days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't understand that because I haven't paid for any promotions, via YouTube or anything like that. So I couldn't tell you, but I'm really pleased that people are actually going and watching it because I'm really proud of what we came up with and the work that Jeremy Minott did in pulling it together and like a 4-day turnaround after filming it. I already had the music video, so it was
Oh,
incredible. The whole experience was pretty fun. So and for my first music video as well, it meant a lot to finally have something out there that people are actually going and appreciating. So, but yeah, going back to the storyline, I suppose, yeah, in the sense that, yeah, in terms of the storyline of the song, it doesn't resolve, but in the music video, I suppose there's
mhm.
a little bit of a No, not to give it away.
No, but it's a dual storyline video, shall we say? And you as the singer are one of the storylines, and then there is another one. They're both
That's
on.
it.
But
That's it.
I think also
Good way of
just,
putting it.
yeah, going back to what you were saying about how you and Alex had written the lyrics, and there's the continuum is that you set out to create something through the song which Jeremy can then look at and pick up for the video. So without that intention, I think in the song that you made, he's not able to do that and deliver a video that's clearly resonating with people.
Yeah, I think well and like the thing that I said to Jeremy when I first messaged him was that I've never done this before, so I'm not sure what I can put forward ideas, but I don't know what's going to work best. And like, I really had to kind of rely on his talent and his eye for my first time round. I had a bit of an idea, obviously. I had a lot of visuals that I wanted to try and capture in the music video. And it really kind of it all landed perfectly because we really wanted the couple. We really wanted to kind of explore some of those some of those elements where they were wanting or they were potentially wanting to be together, but there was this other really toxic situation going on at home, and we didn't want to also kind of do it in a negative way because you could, what do you focus on? Do you focus on the toxic elements, or do
Yeah.
you focus on the positive elements that are going on over here between the guy and the girl? So it was tricky, but Jeremy had a really great way of just kind of laying it out in a really positive way because it is a positive song at the end of the day. And whilst it
Yeah.
does mention at the beginning that that there's a guy not treating her right, that
Mm.
really is the only kind of reference. And in the pre-chorus, that she may not be in love with him anymore, that other guy. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the only negative reference. Everything else is quite positive. So we wanted to highlight that.
And I think, look, my visual impression of that video is that it has this golden light through it in your part of it and also the other storyline strands. And maybe that's part of the
Yeah.
reason why people are responding is that visual impression of it matches the tone of the lyrics. There's not there aren't two different storylines or two different interpretations going on, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like the colors are what really makes that video. I think the contrast between the sunsets and the brighter tones when you've got the younger couple, and then as the sun sets, obviously they're in the, on the car. It's kind of, it's bringing the end to the to the daylight, and that's a really beautiful way to end it. I thought it was really cool because that was all just coincidental in terms of
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it worked out well.
Yeah, and partly why I'm interested in talking about this process is to honor the fact that it is that continuum. It's a beginning, middle, and end, not just of writing the song and those components, but actually that whole intention of yours to create something for the audience. And as you said, you're not trying to pander, and I don't think you are at all, because I think that would show if that's what you were trying to do. It's actually about communicating clearly and offering an experience at a time when people do, I think, intrinsically feel the need to be uplifted and have something positive, but also have something that's going to be memorable. Like I said, it's another earworm, and I curse you slightly under my breath every time it happens, because I'm like, that song's going to be stuck in my head for weeks now. But that's
Can
part
I say
of
though,
it.
and I don't mean to cut in, but like I honestly I feel like sometimes, there's this pressure to really write, and this is, I don't know whether this is the case for every artist, but this is the pressure that I feel, that sometimes I need to really go inside and just dig out all my deepest, darkest vulnerabilities and secrets. And whilst I agree that there's definitely a place for that in country, because people that those stories resonate with a lot of people, particularly when you're vulnerable and you're brave enough to be vulnerable to an audience. But I'm such a I really like to look at the positive side of life. That I've lived. The first half of my life was absolutely completely different and chaotic, but the second half of my life has been fantastic, and I've got so much positivity going on in my life that I find that it's really hard for me to go back and dwell on those negative experiences, and they're there, and I've written about them, but the things that I want to write about, and I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun on stage and write songs that don't necessarily have a deep, meaning, that, or a deep line, or connection to, a direct experience or whatever it might be. I
Mhm.
just want to get out there and have fun on stage and sing songs that are uplifting and positive, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And this is like that with I'm Calling Shotgun. It's just a song that I really love singing. It's really fun, and I'm just really kind of proud of, and it's a song that I'd listen to if I didn't write it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of what's driving me at the moment. It's just writing songs that I enjoy singing and love getting out on stage with.
Well, as an audience member, I completely appreciate it. And I would urge you, Nathan, please, I'm begging you, do an album. It would be lovely to
I'm
have.
getting it.
I'd love me to have a whole album of that kind of experience, because for me as a listener, it's like I feel uplifted listening to the songs. And what you were saying about, going and into your vulnerabilities and history, I think sometimes when you have had difficulties in your past, it does feel like as an imperative as an artist that you have to mine it. It's like, oh, but go into those places and get there. So actually the harder choice is, I think, to write about positivity, is to write something uplifting, because it doesn't necessarily fit with what people think is art or what people think is cool, but
Yeah.
it's actually what audiences love, because it's so hard to find it in a pure sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good sense
Yeah,
twice.
no, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad you agree. I mean, I think there's merit in both approaches. It's definitely like, there's definitely there's a lot of artists that do really well through tapping into their own experiences, and that, like I said, that resonates with a lot of people. But there's also a lot of artists out there that do just sing about love and all these positive things, and like Dan and Shay's of the world, and Seaforth, and all those other guys that are out there doing it. So, and that's probably the mold that I fit into the most, is at the moment in particular. But
Mm.
it's not to say that I don't have different stuff coming. I've got actually my next single that's going to come out in October. Then that's going to be a bit of a tonal shift on what I've released up until this point. So, which I'm really excited to explore. But yeah, for now, I'm just really kind of enjoying just writing songs that are a bit cheeky and playful and fun.
Oh, good. A fourth single. Well, that's almost halfway to an album. I'll be slightly appeased by that. You've got more songs out. Now, I do have to ask a very important question, which is, was Robbie Mortimer jealous that you were not writing with him for this song? Because you and Robbie have written a few songs together.
Look, I won't go into this the scathing message that I got from him. You know, I haven't heard from him in a couple of months actually since no, I'm only joking. No, we're still thick as thieves. Yeah, Robbie is actually, you know, my biggest supporter, and vice versa. I think the feeling's mutual between us. We have a lot of respect for each other and what we're doing, and we still get together and write. I think, you know, with the way in which Robbie's career is going at the moment, you know, he's got less and less time, you know, to sit down and write. I mean, like last year, we spent a lot of time writing together, because he wasn't as, you know, as big as he is now. Like, so he's going really great, and it's been lovely to watch that in Robbie, you know, and vice versa. You know, he's watching my journey, and we both have an appreciation for just how hard it is, and no, and he's mind you, he's releasing all these bangers that I haven't co-written on, and no bad blood there, because they're absolute zingers. So I think at the end of the day, the song wins, and you know, if there's a better song to release, then that's what you need to go with, because you know, they're the songs that the audience want to hear. So
Yeah, but
I
when
mean,
I spoke to him a few weeks ago, and he talked about how generous you are as a co-writer. He said, you know, I can be stuck on something and I'll call Nathan. He'll be like, yeah, I'm on it. Like, let's drop
yeah.
everything and get onto this now. And so I think, yeah, just because in case he's never said it to you, that's actually what he's telling other people.
Oh,
That's how he feels.
yeah, I love Robbie. Like, I really do. I think that he inspires me more than probably what anyone would think, and even himself. Like, you know, we were both at a point last year. I mean, he was at the Star Maker point. I was a year after him. I only got back into music really through watching Robbie work as hard as he
Wow.
did. You know, and I mean that. I mean that. I think it was watching Robbie. It was a combination of watching Robbie's hard work, yeah, going into Star Maker, and a year that he had thereafter, and that, you know, something that just really clicked in for me. You know, I realized that, you know, it's got to start within you, you know, for you to put the wheels into motion for things to start finally working out.
Mhm.
You know, and I got sick of waiting for things to land in my lap, and I just realized through Robbie's mentality that you got to just go out there and risk it and take it, you know, and he's taken it, you know,
Well, you
and I
both
plan on
have.
doing the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And how beautiful actually to
yeah.
have that happen, and but also to be able to do something with it, to say, oh, he inspires me, but
Mm.
then not just go back to having your tea and toast and thinking that's nice.
Yeah, well, that's it, and like, you're only as good as people around you, but you're only as, you know, as you know. I think, like, in terms of mentality, like, if you're surrounded by people that are really hardworking, and you know, they've got those go and get her attitudes, you know, go get her attitudes, and you know, just you are willing to risk it all, then like, that's the mentality that you'll adopt
Mhm.
just by default. So I think that I'm just keen to spend as much time as I can with people like Robbie, so that I stay motivated, and I've got that kind of that attitude towards my music.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us would say the same.
Yeah. Well, you both played at the night in Nashville in Orange, and
Yeah.
you're both playing some outdoor shows. And I'm particularly curious to ask you about this PBR after party, which you
Yeah.
played not that long ago, because I
Yeah.
worked on a book about the PBR a few years ago, and I have been to the PBR show live, and you know, it's a rowdy time. There's a lot going on. What on earth was the after party like?
It was great. Like, it was I was on the Friday night, and funny enough, Gemma Beach from Star Maker was on the Saturday night. So she got the sold out crowd.
Oh, shame.
I got the half sold out crowd. But it was still a great night, where there was still a lot of people that turned up to the after party, because it's you have to kind of pay to get into the after party, despite having already paid to get in for
All
the
right.
PBR. So I was actually really happy, and a lot of people came to watch me, and I was quite you know, blessed by that people, you know, came specifically just to watch me. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. And you know, there was beer thrown, like, you know, sprayed in the air, and you know, I think I did a reel today where it kind of showed one of those moments where people were just kind of, doing the country thing, which was a lot of fun, and I got to sing a few of my originals and just kind of yeah, like have a bit of a jam with the country crowd. And I don't get to do that often, where I get up at a but that was my first PBR, in fact. So I've
Right.
never been able to do that at a PBR event. Actually, can I say I'd never been to a PBR or a bull riding show ever. So it was my first time watching, grown men, and in some cases young fellas that aren't even adults yet, get onto I don't know how, are they like 3, 4, 5 ton? I don't know
Oh,
how
yeah,
heavy are those,
enormous. Yeah.
and just ride it until until they came off. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah.
So that was insane. That was an eye opener. But I'm really keen to go back just to watch the show.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're tossed around like they're rag dolls, but then you think, well, that was kind of unreal. I want to see it again.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how they've got the cojones to.
Well, I can tell you, because I had to interview dozens of them working on this book, and this is a bit of a digression, but I always remember it because I realized that a lot of them were kind of practicing a form of Zen and the art of bull riding. They were able to uh, reduce their fear levels. And I don't think it's because they didn't have fear. I don't think they were sociopaths or anything like that. So they were actually able to manage their fear and also manipulate time, so that the 8 seconds that they were to spend on the ball, most of them would never get to the 8 seconds. But that time expanded. And this was something that I noticed across a lot of them. It wasn't just, and they wouldn't even necessarily put it in those terms, but there were things that were going on with them. And I was like, okay, you are quite unusual men. And they'd often started as little boys on the bulls, and on little steers and things, not on big bulls. And then they'd stayed with it, and they just had this mentality. And a lot of them, it was training like they're professional athletes. And so they would train for this, they would train for the 8 seconds, and they were just fixated on the 8 seconds. And so I think it's not unlike being a performing artist, and you have your time on stage, you're training for that, just that your
Yeah.
time's longer, and you're not likely to get gored in the side when you do it. But it's
No.
that whole thing of being able to understand that everything coalesces in that point in time and make the most of your time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the whole time, time warping. I get that. I understand that. It feels like, when we're on stage, it goes for like 3 minutes. When you're on there for like,
Right.
45 to an hour, whatever it is. That's what it felt like at a night in Nashville. Because that was just electric. Any good crowd, like you just can't get enough of it. So
Yeah.
definitely probably not as insane as a bull riding experience, but I'm keen to go back and do more PBRs if they'll have me. I'll definitely go back and do more shows.
Well, then you'll get to watch more adults being tossed around on bulls. But and now, so it's from what I understand, in that same weekend, so you were on the East Coast for that PBR after
Yeah,
class. Then you flew to Kununurra, presumably via Perth or something. So that would have been a long trip for a festival in the same weekend.
can't you see the bags under my? I'm still tired. I still feel like I'm in a cloud. So if I sound or look flat, I do apologize. I got back on Tuesday after leaving on the Monday to get back, and it's Australia is massive. You don't realize how big it is until you go to WA, and catch like 2 4-hour flights, or one 5-hour, one 3-hour flight to get to where you're going. But yeah, it was a great experience. I'd not been to WA until April of this year, so for me to go back, in such a short period of time was a blessing. And the first time I went to the Pilbaras for the Carragini experience, and this time I got to go to Kununurra for the Stronger Families Festival up in Mirrawong country there. So it was a beautiful time, and it was myself, JK47, who's a massive Australian hip hop rapper, and also Emily Warramara. So.
Right.
And we all performed on stage, and got to share some positivity with the community, amongst what's been a terrible time for the community, when it comes to domestic violence and the suicide rate. They've got the highest suicide rate in the country, the Kimberleys,
Right.
for particularly for younger people. So I think 15 and below, it's definitely the highest rate. I couldn't tell you if it's the highest rate for adults, but it's probably up there if it's not. So, just to be able to bring some positivity and share our experience through story, through music, it was a beautiful time and a special exchange of love between the community and us. We were very welcomed and got to spend
Mm.
some time out at Molly Springs and go out and get engage in some ceremony as well, which was really
Mm.
cool. I was really sad to come back, but also happy because I got to see my kids when I come home. So, but very tired, very jet lagged, and
Well,
still recovering.
and also like sensory overload, just all those different experiences, I would imagine. And at the time we're speaking, you are gearing up to play a headline show of your own in your hometown of Wagga Wagga, New South Wales. You'll be at Tilly's on July the 12th. So can you fit in rehearsal before you you play? You've been so busy.
Yeah, we are managing. We've got literally rehearsal the day before the show. We've all been rehearsing in our own time, of course, and we've played before together, so we all kind of have a sense of each other's style and just a knowledge of how we go on stage. So we're really excited. It's the same band that I brought with me to Night in Nashville that'll be playing. And we've got we've actually got a full-on show. We've got our support acts, Shara Rose, who's another emerging artist, Sydney-based, and Max Schneider, who's a Wagga local here and really talented guitarist, singer, who's going to showcase his talents. He's only 16 too, so I figured that would be a great opportunity to showcase some younger talent that are coming through. And it's just going to be a big night, a big celebration of I'm Calling Shotgun, and I'm really looking forward to taking the stage and selling some merch and just having my first ticketed show. Like this is it. This is the moment for me. So.
Well, you'll have to have your own ticketed show at Tamworth will be the next thing. But the next day after that show, you are playing what I understand is Wagga's equivalent of the Vivid Festival in Sydney, called the Festival of W.
Oh, even bigger than the Vivid Festival.
Oh, look, there you go.
It's massive here in Wagga. It's Wagga's a beautiful time in July because we have the ice skating rink set up in the Victoria Memorial Gardens. We've got a whole bunch of musos that are lined up to play across 3 weekends, and so it's just so happens that I'm next Saturday the night after, but there's actually music going on this weekend, and there's a music lineup going on the following weekend from my spot. So and there's also beautiful lights across the Wurundjeri Lagoon, and a lot of little quirky lit up monuments that that are around that kind of downtown space too. So yeah, if you're around in Wagga, why not come and check it all out? I mean, there'll be everything you need, food stalls and whatnot. So it's definitely a festival, but it's free. So what more could you ask for?
Well, just wear a really good coat at that time of year in Wagga. I would suggest,
Yeah.
but a coat will not be needed at the Denny Ute Muster, which is happening a little later in the year. And I believe this will be your first appearance at the Denny Ute Muster. Now, do you have any expectations, or do you have a ute?
No, I don't have a ute. I could probably borrow one.
While you're there,
No.
yes. Yeah.
I'll feel a little bit out of place. I mean, I'm hoping that I don't rock up in my white Air Force sneakers and get thrown out of the joint. But I'm just gonna rock up and just do everything Denny as it should be. I suppose I'm gonna do a bit of homework before I go, just so I know what to expect. But I hear that the crowd and the energy and the atmosphere are insane. So I'm looking forward to just getting up on stage. I'll probably wear boots. I mean, it's the dirt's pretty red out there, so I'll chuck some boots on for that show, and hopefully I won't get chased out of town wearing my white.
Well, I was going to say wearing white shoes, it's not so much chased out of town, it's just they won't be white for very long, from what I understand.
No. I mean, I don't mind wearing boots at all. I sometimes I find that the boots are actually more comfortable than the Air Forces, funny enough. But in terms of the show, I'm really looking forward to it because it's a massive lineup, and I've been releasing, as you know. I mean, we've only been having yarns for about 10 months now, and to be at this point where I'm already playing Danny, I just when I got the email, I almost shed a few tears because I know my stepmom Millie, like if she was still around, I just know how proud she would be, and that's kind of part of what drives me is just wanting to not squander any more time and just really push myself into these bigger opportunities and bigger spaces to feature my music. And to be playing at one of the biggest festivals in Australia just means the absolute world to me, and it does to Mill up there too. So
Because Millie, from what I remember, was part of a country music club, and that was how you came into country music.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, great memory. Yeah, Mill was like she mothered 12 of my father's children. She was the chairperson of the Leighton Country Music Talent Quest and the Leighton Country Music Association. So she was the big driving force behind me as a young fella getting to all the talent quests, Tamworth, Traralgon Country Music Talent Quest, Forbes, Young, all of
Oh,
the all of it, as many she could enter me into, she did, and that's kind of where I developed, and yeah, and she was really proud of what I was able to achieve, and it was through Millie's dedication. She even went right. She was like 75 at the time, I think, but she went all the way on train with me from Wagga here to Tamworth. That's like a 14-hour train
yeah.
ride, 7 hours to Sydney, 7 hours at her age, and she was with me the whole week of Camerata, back when they called Junior
Oh,
Academy
yeah.
Camerata. That's how much she supported me. So yeah, I'm glad that I can be finally not notching off a few goals that I'd set earlier on in life that I'm sure she'd be proud of. Yeah.
I was going to ask if she was a stage mom, but it doesn't really sound like it. She sounds like she was just supportive and not at all
Mm.
pushy.
No, she wasn't pushy. I think she just she just wanted the best for me. She genuinely was doing it for me, not for herself, not for any kind of self-gloating. She did that for all of her children, so we've got a lot of talented siblings and family members in my family. So, and it's all Millie's a lot to credit for that. Yeah.
I'm sure she would be very proud of you and also encouraging you to wear boots at the Denny Ute Muster.
I'll
Um,
show you a photo of her, actually. I know I haven't.
ah,
She's right here. That's Millie there, and that's
ah,
her husband Norm, and he's still alive over in Narandra. But Millie, yeah, she loved her children, not just me. She loved all of her children,
yeah.
all 12, and even those that she fostered as well. So
Oh, she fostered.
she was
Oh,
beautiful. Yeah, yeah,
oh my
yeah. She was
word.
beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, she was lovely. Yeah,
Had a massive heart, obviously.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So around the time the Denny Ute Muster comes out, it sounds like that's when your next single will be out, if I'm getting the dates correct.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be out a couple of weeks after. So I think I'll play Danny, and then that'll kind of I'll play the song at Danny as well, so everyone will get to hear it before it comes out. So that's
Right.
pretty exciting. So if you're at Danny, you'll get to hear a 2 week sneak peek. A sneak peek 2 weeks early before the single release. So make sure you buy your tickets.
Yes, people back up your utes. Get get the wall blankets around here and listen to the new song. But
Yeah.
Lamont, I am going to let you go because you have been traveling a great deal and you may need to get some rest. But fantastic to talk to you as always. Thanks for your time.
No, thanks for having me, Sophie. I always appreciate our yarns, and yeah, I'll look forward to our next chat in hopefully October.